Hello, this is Rosalind and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for subscribing. I noticed that I have a few new subscribers. I want to say thank you. And so today's topic I will share with you me as a child growing up. But before we begin, I want you to like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell so you'll never miss a video. So let's begin. I can remember back when I was, I think I was first grade, kindergarten, somewhere like that. And I just didn't like school. I remember walking home and I know school was still in. And I walked home and my parents was asking me why did I walk home? And school was not out. And I told them I didn't like school. And I told them that I wanted to come home because I wanted to be at home. I didn't want to be at school. And so they made sure the next day that I did not leave school when I wasn't supposed to. Yeah, they did that. My brothers, they had to walk me to school and they had to walk me home from school. So I actually had to wait on them because I think I got out before they did because I was in first grade, second grade. So I ended up staying at school. But in my third grade year, I didn't like school, not at all. The girls at the school, all they wanted to do was fight. I don't know why they just wanted to fight, but that's what they wanted to do. And I didn't want to fight at all. And I remember this girl at recess, all she wanted me to do, it was this game called Chinese jump rope. And I will always win, but she didn't like the fact that I was always winning Chinese jump rope. So she got mad and she wanted to fight me. And I told her I didn't want to fight her because it was only just a game. So as the time went by, sixth grade came around. I know I skipped a couple of grades, but these are the only grades I really remember when I was in school. So sixth grade came around and sixth grade was kind of different because I really didn't just connect with a lot of girls because for some odd reason, all they wanted to do was just fight. But that just wasn't me. But then, I came to the seventh grade and, I told you a story when I was in seventh grade about being bullied in the seventh grade and going to a different school when I was in the eighth grade. But I just want to tell you the living situation, how my parents raised us. When I walked home when I was in the first grade, I can remember us living in this house and I remember us having living room furniture. I can remember us having the washing machine where you had to turn and you had to stream the clothes through when you turn it, the clothes had to go through it so it can, rinse or whatever. Not rinse, but you had to, rinse and you had to take the clothes through it and the water will fall from it. I remember having that in the house. And I also remember when we didn't have bedroom furniture. We had clothes that was stuffed. My mom, I guess she had sewed some sheets together and she stuffed clothes inside the sheets and we slept on those. But it made, it worked for us. And then after that, I remember us moving up the street. We just moved like across the street, like on Jackson right there. And so we moved into another house. But this house, my brothers, they had bunk beds, but I still had to sleep in the living room. I didn't have a bed of my own, but it was okay. But, it worked for us. And then after that, my parents, they separated. At that time, my parents separated. I think I was still in elementary. I think I probably was in the sixth grade. I was either in the fifth or sixth grade when my parents separated. And when my parents separated and my dad was still staying on 25th Street and my mom had moved on 16th Street. But this I do remember. Every time I left school, I did not go on 16th Street. I went on 25th Street because I wanted to be with my dad. And so after the fact, every time I was going over there, my mom found out I was going over there and she told me I need to come to 16th Street because that's where we were staying. But I didn't accept that as being my house, as my home. So finally, my mom and my dad, they got back together. And at that moment, at that time, we were staying in a flat top. You can say it was a boarding house, a boarding room, because it was only two rooms. At that time, it was like 5 children and 2 adults that were staying in 2 rooms. And we had a bed in the first room. We had a couch and we had another little bed, that was on that side. But I slept in the kitchen and the boys slept in the same room my parents slept in, but I slept in the kitchen by myself. Kind of weird, right? But I slept in the kitchen by myself, and my mom and dad and my brother slept in one room. And so I think we stayed over there for like 2 years. We stayed in a boarding house for like 2 years. But I guess my dad decided that he was going to go ahead and try to build us a house, because at that time my daddy was legally blind and he was getting disability because he was legally blind. And what he did, he took the money that he was getting and he built us a house for a whole year, probably about a year. He went without medicine so we could have a place to stay. And him and my uncle built a house. And the house consists of 3 bedrooms, a living room, a kitchen, and a dining room. It was really nice. And we was really grateful and thankful that my dad sacrificed his money, not taking his medicine for his blindness, so he can have, build us a house so we can have a place to live. And I just love my dad for that. But as time went by, my mom, she started having other children. And so it ended up being like 9 people in the house. But before that, my oldest brother, he had gotten married, but it left 8 children and 2 adults in the house. It was a lot of people in that house. And I always used to, say to myself, I always used to make a statement, say, it's got to be better than this, because I just knew that life, it was just too many people in that one house. And I used to just walk around and just tell myself life got to be better than this. And it was so much other things that was going on in my family, and it was just so much. And I was really, really stressed as a young person, but we didn't have a lot. I can remember going to Shelter Workshop. Shelter Workshop is like Goodwill today. And I can remember always going to Shelter Workshop buying clothes. We never went to Walmart to get clothes or anything like that. Probably underwear and stuff like that. We went to like Fred, somewhere like that. But as far as clothing, shoes, just to have something on our back, we never went to like a department store to buy anything. We always went to Shelter Workshop. But I'm still grateful, and I'm still thankful that my parents were able to just even get money together so we can have these things. I remember one time when I told my mom, since I was going to be getting my clothes from Shelter Workshop, and back then the pants was like 25 cents and your shirts were like, a dime or a nickel or something like that. So I had told my mom one time, since I'm going to be buying these clothes from Shelter Workshop, I wanted to, pick my own clothes out. And she allowed me to do that. But as time went by and I got older and older and I started working, and I ended up, my first job after I graduated from school, my first job was Burger King. I'll never forget it, because the job helped me to buy what I needed without asking my parents for money, because I know we wasn't poor. I don't know if we was poor or just couldn't afford. I don't know how to put that, but we didn't have a lot. I'm just going to say that we didn't have a lot. But I just thank God that we survived. We survived. And I don't remember ever our lights being turned off or not having food. I don't remember anything like that. My mom always cooked dinner. My dad he was always a good provider. And I just thank God that my parents just didn't give up. They were survivors, and they were good troopers about that. They made sure that we didn't want for anything. Even though we didn't go to a department store to get what we wanted, they made sure we had what we needed. And as a young mother, I was a young mother. I made sure that my children had what they needed. I never really just took them to, every once in a while, I remember taking them to shelter workshop. But most of the time when I started having children, I was a single mother, had 2 kids. I always took them to Walmart, and I always took them to Payless because I could afford going there because I didn't buy a lot of clothes for myself. I always end up dressing like in sweats or something like that. But I just wanted to make sure that my boys had what they needed. And they never wanted for anything. I always kept them clean, even though their clothes came from Walmart. I always had clean clothes. I always made sure their clothes was washed. They never were, my children were never was hungry. I made sure they had food to eat. And I made sure they had a roof over their head because I was a survivor. I watched my mom and I watched my dad, and that's how I got, have a mind of just taking care of my kids. For those of you who's watching my video, who that's a single parent or just trying to make ends meet, it's okay to go to a shelter workshop or to a Goodwill or to wherever you can afford to supply your children with clothes so they can have something to wear. You're not always going to be able to take them to the mall or anything like that to have clothes on them, have clothes on their back. Sometimes we can live beyond our means and we end up buying things that we cannot afford and still having your light bill or can't pay your rent because you're trying to make sure that your children are suited and booted. You shouldn't do that, because when we start living beyond our means, we end up losing things. We end up losing our cars. We end up just losing everything. End up living with people who you don't want to live with because we living beyond our means. And I just want to let you know, I just want to share with you how I was raised as a child. Even though we didn't have a lot, we didn't complain. We always had food on the table. My dad, he worked. And when he worked, he came home. I didn't have a father who came home and was drunk or anything like that. I just thank God for that. He sung in a gospel group, but I don't ever remember him not coming home. And I just want to say to the young dads and to the fathers, if you're watching my channel, take care of your families. Make sure that your children have what they need. And if they want something, make sure it's, that it's affordable. Don't go out and get something that you cannot afford and then try to struggle and try to make ends meet when you spend money on something that you really couldn't afford to do. Now, I understand that sometimes you want to surprise your children with, different items or different things or clothing, but make sure that you're not going to struggle at the same time. And then look back on it saying in the back of your mind, say, I wish I didn't do that. Just make sure if you're going to spend money, make sure that you're spending money wisely. Because as a child, I don't think my mom and my dad ever spent money just to be spending. They always made sure that we had what we needed. We had a roof over our heads and we had a car. It was just so much we, went without, but we didn't complain. I never see my mom complain about what she didn't have. I never see my dad complain about what he didn't have. I think they were just happy that the children had a roof over their head and we had food on the table. We was clean. We didn't walk around dirty or just looking like anything. I just thank God for that. But I just wanted to get on here and share with you how I was raised. Because sometimes today's time with the pandemic going on, I know sometimes, we want to go to the store, we want to buy this, we want to buy that. Go to Goodwill, go to your local hand-me-down store. I don't know what your store might be called, but in our local place is the Goodwill, or we have the Thrift Barn. But just go where you can afford to go. Wash the clothes, make sure they're clean. Just, do what you have to do. But don't live beyond your means, because you're going to end up doing something that you didn't want to do. So I hope this video was helpful to you. I just want to share with you how I was raised. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you'll never miss one of my videos, because I just want you to just be at peace. Be at peace and have a glad and happy evening. So I just want to thank you for watching, and stay tuned.